Welcome back to Applet Programming. In this session, we will learn the first step in developing an applet program, that is building an applet code, which means building.java file. And also, we will learn the applet lifecycle. At the end of this session, you will able to learn how to create .class file, and you will learn about the applet lifecycle. Building an applet program. So this is the first step in developing an applet program in Java. This slide gives you the basic skeleton of an applet program. To build an applet program, we make use of the services of two classes provided by the Java class library, namely the applet class and the graphics class. The applet class, which is contained in java.applet package, provides life and behavior to the applet through its methods such as init, start, stop, and paint. We make use of these methods to build our own applets. Okay, so when an applet is loaded, Java automatically calls these series of applet class methods for starting, running, and stopping the applet code. The applet class therefore maintains the life cycle of an applet. Okay, and you can see the paint method, which is written inside the class. So the paint method of an applet class, when it is called, automatically displays the result of an applet code on the screen. The output may be a text, graphics, or a sound. The paint method, which requires an object of a graphic class, is passed as an argument as shown here. So we are going to create an object of a graphics class by writing the class name graphics followed by the object. Here I have written it as G. So you have to pass this object as an argument to this paint method. Okay. This requires that the applet code imports a java.awt package. To use this graphics class, you have to import this AWT package. AWT stands for Abstract Window Toolkit. This class or this package contains a definition for graphics class. And all the output operations of an applets are performed using the methods defined in the graphics class. So this graphics class contains set of methods. So the output is written on the output screen using the methods of this graphics class. Okay, so the applet, we are going to create an applet class by writing, as usual, by writing the class. So always the class should be declared as public in applet program. The class is public, and we know how to create a class in Java. We write the keyword class followed by the class name. Since we are taking the help of an applet class, we have to inherit that applet class to our current class. Hence we write extends applet. Here applet is a class, hence it begins with capital letter. Here applet is a package, hence it is written in smaller case. Okay, here is a simple applet program to print hello applet on the output screen. This program begins with an import statement. We have to import two packages, that is AWT package and applet package, to our current applet program, and then have created a class applet demo by writing public class applet demo extends applet. Okay, so here applet is the name of the class, hence it begins with capital letter, whereas here in the import statement, applet begins with smaller case, because applet here is a package, it is not a class, whereas here it is a class. This is class and Here this is a package. There is a difference between class and a package. To show that difference, they have followed that convention. Always the package name begins with smaller case letter and the class name begins with uppercase letters. And within this the class, we are going to override the paint method. We will write public void paint, and to this paint method we are going to pass an object of graphics class by writing the class name, that is graphics, followed by an object. So I have created an object called G, and through this object now we are going to override the methods of the graphics class. So the graphics class contains a method called drawString. DrawString, where here S is capital letter. So this method helps us in printing a string or a statement on the output window. So here there is a mistake. It should be, the method should be g.drawString. Okay, not paint. To print hello applet on the output window, we write g.drawString, where D is a smaller letter and S is capital letter. Drawstring should be written without any space. Okay. To this drawstring method, we pass the string that has to be displayed on the output screen, that is hello applet. Okay. And along with this string, we are going to pass two other parameters, that is here it is 10 and 10. So these parameters are nothing but the coordinate points. What they are? They are the coordinate points. So these points are used as a reference on the output window from where this string should begin. Okay, so on the coordinating window, that is on the output window, this string hello applet will be displayed at a point 10, 10. That means the x value is 10 and the y value is also 10. At this point, the string will be displayed. That is the starting point. The starting point of this string on the output window is 10, 10. So this is how a simple string or a statement is printed on the output window using an applet program. Okay. Next, now we are going to discuss the life cycle of an applet program. Every Java applet inherits a set of default behaviors from the applet class. As we have seen in our previous slide, all the applet programs extends that we are going to create extends features from the applet class, isn't it? Hence we write the class name followed by extends applet class. Okay. So as a result, when an applet is loaded, it undergoes a series of changes in its state, as shown in this figure. The applet states includes born or initialization state, running state, idle state, dead or destroyed state. There should be an arrow like this. Okay. So now the first state, that is initialization state. Applet enters the initialization state when it is first loaded. This is done by calling the init method, that is initialization method of an applet class. The applet is born when this method is called. At this stage, it is possible to do certain initialization, like creating an object that is needed by an applet, or setting up some initial values to the variables, or loading some images or fonts to the current applet program, and setting up the colors, that is foreground colors or background colors of the output window. So all these activities can be performed during initialization stage, that is when the applet program is born, or when an applet is born. Okay, the initialization occurs only once in the applet lifecycle. You have to remember this. So the initialization activity is going to be performed only once in its life cycle. So to provide any of the behaviors mentioned above, we can override the init method. The syntax or the basic structure of the init method is shown here. We will write public void init, and within this init method you are going to write the code that has to be executed when an applet is born or when an applet is created. Okay, that is as I've told you, these activities you can perform within the initialization. So this is similar to the constructor that we are going to use it in initializing an object of a class when it is created in normal Java program. Okay, next, running state. Applet enters the running state when the system calls the start method of an applet class. This occurs automatically after the applet is initialized. As soon as the applet is initialized, the start method will be called and the applet will enter into the running state. Here you can see the basic syntax of a start method. So we begin with public and then void and then we write start. So you can override this start method to create a thread to control the applet. Okay. Next, idle or stopped state. An applet becomes idle when it is stopped from execution or stopped from running. So when it is stopped from running, so you can visit the previous slide of an applet life cycle. Here you can see an applet which is in running state may enter into the idle state. Okay, so by calling explicitly a stop method or by calling stop method implicitly. So when this is going to happen in reality is, just imagine you are in a web page which contains an applet program, and currently the applet program is in a running state. And suppose if you move from a current web page to another web page, okay, if you navigate from one web page to another web page, then obviously the web page which contains an applet and it is currently in an execution mode will be stopped, and that applet program will move on to the idle state by calling stop method implicitly. And again this idle state of an applet can be moved to the running state when you, as soon as you visit back the same web page. When you move back to the same web page which contains an applet, the applet will move from idle state to the running state by internally calling the start method. Here is the basic structure of a stop method. We write public followed by void and then stop. So you can override the stop method according to your requirement to perform certain activity. Next, dead state. An applet is said to be dead when it is taken out of the memory, and this occurs automatically when a destroy method is called. And this is going to happen when we quit the browser or when we end the program execution. The basic structure of a destroy method is as shown here. We write public, void and then destroy. It is not start, it is destroy. Okay, so the destroying stage occurs only once in the applet life cycle, and if the applet has created any resources like threads, we may override this destroy method to clean up these resources. Okay, next, display state. Applet moves to the display state whenever it has to perform some output activity on the output screen, and this happens immediately after the applet enters into the running state. So if the applet program has something to write it on the output window, then then the paint method is called by the applet program, and from the running state the applet moves on to the display state. So the paint method is called here to accomplish the output activity, And almost every applet will have a paint method. Like other methods in the life cycle of an applet, the default version of the paint method does not do anything. So it does absolutely nothing. Okay, so we must therefore override this paint method if we want something to be displayed on the window. So the general syntax of the paint method is shown here. We write public and then void and then paint. So the paint method accepts an argument of a graphics class, hence we write G. And later we are going to override this paint method by using the methods of this graphics class through an object that we have passed to this paint method. Okay, and you have to observe here one thing, that is this display state. The display state is not considered as a part of the applet life cycle, because see, here I have not mentioned display as a separate state. Okay, it is just a part of the running state. Okay, and this you have to keep in your mind. A display state is not a separate state, it is a part of the running state. I think this completes the life cycle stages of an applet program. Thank you for your patience listening.